Hi everyone, it's Gina, and tonight I'm going to be doing this faux stained glass made out of crushed glass sun catcher. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. I will be teaching this class. Let me just move you down. Ignore my messy craft room. But I just thought it would be so cool for you guys to see this in action. And this is basically what a class is like. So we have crushed glass, red, white, and blue. This is Patriotic. And I'm going to do the star in silver. And then we're going to put resin over it. So I'm going to do the red first. And, whoops. This is transfer tape, so it's sticky. And I'm doing this sideways. So I just want to show you. I don't want my hand to be in the way. But these are classes that I teach. I'm also going to put some kits together. So if you guys want to do it at home, you can get a kit and do it at home. And once you have the glass and the resin, you can do so many things. Okay, so there is one red. That's going to be white. It's going to be red. And I don't want to fill them up too much because I've done a few of these and I find that less is more. If you fill them up too much, you gotta be careful because glass is sharp, guys. Glass is sharp. So I am using my fingers, but I probably should use a popsicle stick. I find that, number one, it's a sun catcher. So you want the sun to be able to go through. If you load it up with glass, now, first of all, the resin doesn't always get down to the bottom. And you want it to get down to the sticky paper because that's your base. That's what's holding everything together. And you want to be able to see through it, right? So that's why I like to see some white in there. There we go. Okay. There we go. And then we are all that. And then what you want to do, if you have a tweezer, you can kind of fill in the spots, get some of the smaller pieces of glass, and fill in some of the corners. Like here's a little teeny piece right here. That'll go perfect in the corner. And like I said, we want to leave some white space. And I didn't even use all the glass. So now I'm going to go on with my white. Again, I'm not going to fill up the space totally. In fact, you don't want to with the white, this white anyways, because this white is not glass. It's actual little white rocks. So you definitely want to see some white in the background. Otherwise, you won't be able to see any light in the background. So wherever you see white is where the light's going to be shining through. So I just thought that this was a perfect thing to do. It's Memorial Day. Well, yesterday was Memorial Day, but 4th of July coming up. And it's just I think it's such a cool piece. I'm going to put just a little bit because I do want to fill some of it in. And like I said, you put your base layer down and then you go back and figure out where you want to fill it in. And that's where your tweezers come in and you can kind of, whoops, get over there. There. Okay, so there's a red, white, and now we're going to use the blue around the stars. Again, this is really fine glass right here. This is a little chunkier, but the blue is a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see. It's a little smaller than the red. And again, I might do this with this. Let's see. The new popsicle sticks are great to maneuver. The other thing that's also really good to maneuver your glass around is a paintbrush. Let me just show you that. Just get any paintbrush, and especially with this fine glass, like I have a little bit too much in this, so I'm going to probably take some out of here because I have too much. And what happens is, especially with the fine, I find it with the fine glass even more so than with the bigger cut glass, is that the resin doesn't get all the way through sometimes. And what happens is when you pull this backing off, you get a big chunk. And I will show you in my next video tomorrow when I pull the backing off how that works. Sometimes some glass comes off with the backing and sometimes it doesn't. It's just, but everything's fixable. Even if some glass comes off, you can always, always, always fix it. Now see, I got some blue pieces in there and I'm going to take those out with my tweezers. I'm going to take some out. Actually, from here, I can probably add to that section because that's a little sparse. And just, just take your time and just don't think about anything else but what you're creating, right? That has a lot. This doesn't have so much. So what I'm going to do is, with my fingers, I'm just going to take some from here, put it in there. I'm going to take some from here and put it in there, and then just spread this out. And you don't really want the glass to come over the wood. I mean, this is going to come over a little bit just because they're chunkier pieces. But for the most part, you want to keep everything inside of the wood frame. And that's where your paintbrush will come in, to just kind of sweep everything away. Okay? I think this needs a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my tweezers and I'm going to pluck some out, put that in the corner, pluck this out, pluck that out, bring this over, take this. These are, see how teeny weeny these pieces are? Come over here, come over here. Like this. Oops. Oh, that one went flying. That's okay. But now I think I have a piece in here. Yeah. Come on. Put that over there. I have a piece here. So what I do in my classes is that I've had some people fill up their frames so much that it starts lifting off of the transfer paper. And you don't want that, because then, oh my gosh, all your resin gets all over the place and it is not fun at all. Okay. Let's move pieces around where you see. If you don't like all the white, I do want to see some white space, but sometimes you want to fill in the edges. You can always put more in. This needs a little bit more over here. Gotta be careful because, like I said, glass is sharp. I have cut myself. There we go. Okay. So tomorrow night we're going to be doing, what are we doing tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow night we're doing the sunset and the dragonfly. Those are so pretty. I don't have samples here. I have samples back at the store. Okay, so I think that's good for the red, white, and blue. And I'm going to do the star. And with the star I'm going to do, I have this beautiful silver. And I'm just going to That's a lot in that one. This stuff right here is very, very sharp. Like there's a huge piece right here, the shard. I don't want that. And again, just spread it around with your finger or with a paintbrush. There we go. I'm going to have to take some of this out because I can tell there's way too much silver in here right now. So I like to start with less because it's so much easier to add than it is to take away. So I have way too much. Okay. That should be good, I think. Make sure I want to get it all off of the edges. Whoops. I try to get the little teeny ones into the points. Sometimes you can find a piece that fits. Sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes you just have to poke around and up like that one. There you are. You go right in there. Perfect. And I have a little piece of blue in here. I don't want any blue in my white. Get over there. Okay. Probably not as bad to have some white in the blue, but you definitely don't want any blue in the white. There we go. There's still a lot in here. Okay, move this over, Come on over. Come on over. That's good. I think this has way too much in it. I'm going to take a pinch. That doesn't take much to get it out. Like I said, if this is too heavy in here, then the resin can't find its way to the bottom and it has nothing to adhere to. So that's why you kind of want to keep it, you want to see some white. You don't want to fill it up. And then there's a little trick after. Okay, so there is, whoops, get in there. There's our star. How pretty is that? Okay, so now we're going to mix resin. I think this is going to take, so when you mix resin, make sure that you put on your gloves and open a window. Get ventilation in here. Okay. Now, my resin. Here it is. Okay. So, equal parts of A and B. Resin and hardener. So, I am going to mix 4 ounces. So, 2 ounces. Two ounces of A. And 2 ounces of B. That's 4 ounces. Okay, so now, the fun part, now you have to mix it for exactly 3 minutes. So, here we go. Okay, Google, Set timer for 3 minutes. So 118. So you're going to want to stir it slow. So these sun catchers are so beautiful. They catch the sun. I hang mine in my on my slider, and it's just so pretty. I have a dragonfly, and I had this one, but somebody bought it, so I don't have it anymore. That's okay. So now I'm making another one, and I'm actually doing a class. I believe June 23rd is when the class is going to be. So if you're interested, follow my page, and you'll be updated as to when new classes come around. Also teach paint parties. We actually have a really cute little 4th of July gnome that I will be teaching at Made in Burlington. Hillary, you know what? Come up here. Don't mind the mess back there. That's all my painting stuff. I have to actually redo my craft room with painting on one side and my glass resin on the other side, because it just makes it easier for me. There's a lot of stuff cramped in here, and I just wanted to get on to show you guys the process. And when you come to one of my classes, you don't have to worry about anything. I provide everything for you. I provide the gloves, the popsicle stick, the resin, and you come home with a beautiful piece of art. And if you're doing a paint party, all of my canvases are pre-traced. So if anyone has ever been to one of my paint party, chime in, because they walk into the room and they see a traced canvas in front of them, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that makes it so much easier. It just takes so much stress out of the process. And I teach you step by step, just like with resin, step by step, and you go home with a beautiful piece. The sun catchers actually have to cure for 24 hours, but after 12 hours, you can take the backing off. And I will show you that tomorrow. So I think it's been 3 minutes because I have my timer set on the video. So there's my resin. I probably stirred it a little too vigorously because I do have a lot of bubbles in it. But for this project, it's not that bad because you really can't see it. I'm going to bring you back down. There you go. Move this out of the way so you can see. Okay, and now all we're going to do is we want to make sure we get all the edges. And I'm sorry if my hand is in the way, but I can't. Let me see. Can I do it this way with this hand? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can do lefty. And then you can decide whether you want to cover the black. What happens with me is I start out saying, no, I'm not going to cover the black. But then if you get a drip on the black, you might as well just cover it. But I'm going to do that at the end because I want to make sure that I have enough resin to go all the way around. Let's see, maybe let's do it this way. I want to make sure I have enough resin to go all the way around. And resin will find a way. It will find a way to the bottom for the most part. Sometimes you need to coax it a little bit. Sometimes you get a whole area that has no resin. It's like, how the heck did that happen? And that's where I come in. during the class, and you get an eye for it. You get an eye for where there's resin and where there's not. And resin just makes everything so shiny. So shiny. Especially this red glass. This red glass is not, it's not the shiniest when it goes on. There are some dull pieces. But once the resin goes on it, they just sparkle. There we go. I also do home parties. So if you have a bunch of gals get together and you want to do something fun, this is fun. Paint parties are fun. You can do a theme. I did a book club. They had a really cool theme. We did a moon, and that was pretty cool. So I have a ton of samples that I can show. I'm doing this adorable hummingbird. If you're local, I have this adorable hummingbird. Beautiful, not so much adorable. Beautiful hummingbird at Goodnight Johnny's. And if you've ever eaten there, oh my God, the food is so good. And the classes are fun. They come a little early, grab a bite to eat. Their drinks are amazing. How much have we used? Almost half. There we go. I know sometimes it's hard for me to talk when I'm doing the drizzle. Love the drizzle. And if any of it, sometimes you'll get the resin that will leak out the bottom. And that's okay. When you take the backing off, you can just cut it away. You can use an X-Acto knife. I'm gonna just move these. Or sometimes I just use a scissors, and that's enough to get it off. The blue is hard to tell if I have enough drizzle, but I will get in there. I'm gonna shoot it with my heat gun just to help it spread out. I'm probably going to speed up this video and catch you at the end when I do the outside layer. Got a big drip there. That's okay. This is the one I'm worried about. I'm worried about the silver. But I will show you what we do with that. Just want to make sure you get it all. Especially the edges. You want to get the edges because that's what's gonna make it stick. is getting the edges. So I am going to go around. Oops. I am going to go around. You just have to be careful when you do this because sometimes the sometimes I do this with a paintbrush. Because if any of these are on the edge, they'll kind of want to hang out on the edge, living on the edge. Okay. I think I had a paintbrush, but I ruined it. Let me get a crappy paintbrush. I think this is pretty crappy. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to paint the resin. Now see I got blue on that. Just so they're shiny. So everything looks the same. Just have to make, oh, see there's some silver in there. So this one didn't take 4 ounces. This one took less than 4 ounces. I hate wasting resin too, so I'll have to do something with it. So we want our edges to be shiny. So we're just painting along. Just painting along.
Gina,
I'm doing a video.
mother's calling you.
I'm doing a video.
She's doing a video.
So this is coming out. Maybe it's just dripping. I hope it's just dripping. Come on. Okay. I think I have it all. So what I want to make sure is I'm going to take this little tool and I'm just going to make sure, see, I have no resin in here. So almost missed that whole section. Huh. Let's try that again. So this, I just want to make sure that the resin gets all the way down. There's still nothing over here. Okay. Just mixing it around just to make sure everything. This one's not good. And since I have more resin, I'm just going to go around. I'm going to use it all up. Just because I hate wasting resin. Mostly on the red. Because the red kind of sticks out a little bit more than the white and the blue because it's chunkier. But I don't want to overload it because I don't want a lot of the resin to leak out. And I think sometimes when it gets heavy, it lifts up a little bit. That's just, so I'm almost, just going around the edges, making sure all my edges have resin, because that's usually where it lifts. There, I think we're done. Let me just, make sure everyone's where they're supposed to be. Looking good. Looking good, guys. Okay. Perfect. Get out of there. Okay. Make sure this is all mixed in. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, if it reaches, I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. Just to get rid of any bubbles. I had a lot of bubbles in mine. And it kind of tells me if I need, if there's empty spot there. perfect. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, let's see. What did I see? What did I see with my little eyes? I think it was right here. Kind of have to look at all angles. See if we missed any spots. I think we're good. We're good. Okay. I think, you know what? Let me just, not that it's probably going to make a difference on my paintbrush, but it will make a difference. My popsicle stick. Alrighty then. So that is the star. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you follow me for more crafting. Bye-bye.